Let's be honest. If you've ever used an AI tool like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, you've probably had that frustrating moment where you open it up and it's like meeting a stranger all over again. You spend 10 or 15 minutes setting the stage, uploading files, explaining your spelling out exactly how you want it to work, and then the next day you have to do it all over again. Why do I need to tell them the same thing over and over again? Well, you don't have to. ChatGPT and Claude have projects and Gemini calls them gems. Fundamentally, they all do the same thing, but each one has a special nuance to make them different. You may also be surprised that the ChatGPT projects may not be the projects you are looking for. I know I was. Today, I'm going to break them down, what they are, when to use them, when to avoid them, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one to hire for your next big task. Before we get into the details, let's get crystal clear on the big idea. Projects and gems are basically ways for you to give your AI specific knowledge that can be remembered. Typically, every time you start a new chat, your AI is starting with a blank slate. But with projects and gems, you are giving your AI specific knowledge of what you want it to do and documents or information you want it to know. When you start a new chat with that project or gem, it always has the foundation information you initially provided. This is huge for ongoing work. No more wasting time re-explaining the same thing every day. But here's the catch. They all approach this in completely different ways. And that's why I like to think of them like three different employees. One is the collaborative team player, one is the deep dive researcher, and one is the quick, no-nonsense assistant. Let's meet them. First up, Gemini Gems. If you spend most of your day in Google Docs, Gmail, or Drive, this is going to feel like a natural extension of your workflow. A gem is like a highly specialized assistant you train once, and it remembers everything. You can give it 70+ pages of instructions if you want, and it will keep that personality and expertise every time you return. Need to pull a file from Drive? Tag it. Need it to reference an email in Gmail? Tag it. It's as if your assistant can walk into your Google office, open your filing cabinet, and pull exactly what it needs. But here's the big difference. You can share a gem with other people. That means your entire team can work with the same trained AI without each person setting it up from scratch. That makes it perfect for standardized tasks, customer support templates, project-specific research assistants, onboarding bots. The trade-off? You need a paid plan. And if you're not all in on Google's ecosystem, you lose a lot of the convenience that makes gems shine. Claude takes a completely different approach. When you open a Claude project, it feels like walking into a research command center. It can hold 500 pages of content in a single project. That's massive. Enough for an entire book series, a stack of legal briefs, or a year's worth of company reports. This is where Claude shines. Deep, structured, document-heavy work. If you're summarizing court cases, writing a novel, or analyzing large datasets, Claude keeps all your files, all your notes, and all your context ready to go. No need to re-upload, no need to restate instructions, it just remembers. But here's the limitation. It's not as tightly integrated with other apps as Gemini. And unlike Gems, you can't share a Claude project with a colleague directly. In a strange twist, when I was preparing this very script, I asked Claude about its own project features, and it actually told me that it doesn't have document persistence. My own experience proves otherwise. You can upload and retain documents in a Claude project, but sometimes the tool itself gets confused about its own capabilities. This just reinforces the need for you to be the expert, not the AI. Perfect for when you're the sole researcher, analyst, or writer working on something big. It's less ideal if you need real-time collaboration inside the tool. Finally, ChatGPT Projects. This is the minimalist option. You upload your files, PDFs, spreadsheets, meeting notes, and ChatGPT can reference them. However, unlike Claude and Gemini, ChatGPT pulls information from uploaded files, but doesn't always follow the instructions in those files as precisely as expected. For example, despite instructing ChatGPT not to recommend certain tools in one of my projects, it continued to suggest them. At first, I used ChatGPT Projects to help create my company. But when it repeatedly contradicted my guidelines, I switched to a Gemini gem, which better aligned with my needs. ChatGPT projects work well for summarizing contracts, pulling key points from meeting transcripts, drafting press releases from bullet points. The trade-offs? You can't share a project, and it doesn't have Claude's massive storage. For short, focused tasks, ChatGPT projects are incredibly efficient. Was there a misunderstanding? Yes. A project is really a workspace for organizing chats, files, and instructions. What I should have used instead was a custom GPT, which ensures adherence to specific rules and avoids contradictions. I already use custom GPTs for image and video prompts, feeding in tool rules and desired outcomes so the GPT can generate precise prompts. Takeaway: ChatGPT projects are great for organization. For behavior control, use a custom GPT. Here's my quick guide. Gemini Gems, best for collaboration and Google Workspace integration. Claude Projects, best for deep, structured research. ChatGPT Projects, best for quick, private tasks. ChatGPT Custom GPT, best for controlling behavior and rule adherence. I rotate between all four. No single tool does it all. Google Docs all day and need collaboration? Gemini? Buried in research? Claude? Need something fast? ChatGPT? No tool is perfect. It's about picking the right fit. Now you know gems, projects, and workspaces aren't just buzzwords. They're powerful productivity tools with different personalities. I've put together a downloadable comparison chart links in the description. Question: which one will you use first? Drop a comment below. I'd love to see what you'd trust each one with. And stay tuned for next week when we find out how AI did with helping me on my trip of a lifetime.